All right, this is Saturday, November 4th, and this is some Yin Yoga. Getting started with the right side towards the camera. Timer for 3 minutes, more or less. And so belly in, let it out, relax. Just feel the body if you can. You straighten the legs. Feel the space between the vertebrae. Try to relax the muscles along the spine, all the muscles along the vertebrae. Allow them to separate. And oftentimes I'll have some sensation in my low back and feel a little bit right now. Hey, just felt a pop. Usually when I feel that sensation in the back, that's some muscle or something hasn't quite released, hasn't quite relaxed. And then as soon as that muscle starts to relax, then I usually feel a pop in the back between a couple vertebrae. And then that sensation, whatever nerve was getting pinched or whatever, just corrects itself. So that's kind of cool. And just relax, forward fold. Really good for that. So now I've got the toes together, the heels together, ankles not quite together, ankles just barely apart. And actively straightening the knees. I feel a little bit more stretch in the hamstrings. And it's not really a muscle stretch, it doesn't feel like the muscles are getting stretched. It's more like the fascia or the nerves are getting stretched. And usually that happens when I haven't been doing this doing this pose enough or very often. So you got 3 minutes for pose, right? So just relax. Try to relax as much of the body as you can. So I'm actually transferring a significant percentage of the weight on my hands. So I don't have to use as much force on my knees or on my legs. But still feeling the sensation on the back of the legs. A slow but comfortable pace to your breath. And that is that. All right, next up, what I started doing next. So that's a good stretch of the back of the legs. Next up, what I like to do is take the chin to the chest, and I keep my feet separated because I'm a guy, and from here, chin to the chest, get the timer started, and then slowly start to bring this down. The goal is to get the head to the earth, but instead of just bringing the head to the earth, I want to curl the body forward to bring to bring the head to the earth. And when you curl the body and keep both of the legs straight, it really stretches out the back. Feel it along the back, and I usually feel a lot on the upper spine, right between the shoulders. Yeah, so my hamstrings can go for more, but I'm feeling enough sensation in the back that I'm going slow. And again, it's an easy pose. You got 3 minutes, so just relax. Start to get bored, count your breaths. If you start thinking about other stuff in the day, you might not stay in the pose. That might work you up to where you stop doing the practice. So, good thing to focus on if you do want to continue the practice and just keep in it Let's just focus on the breath and just start counting your breaths. It's a slow, comfortable pace to the breath. And I can feel myself, I'm slowly making progress, right? Like 1 radian, 1 degree at a time. I still feel sensation in the upper back between the shoulders. That's really what's gating my progress for this stretch. Just relax as soon as you start to feel some sensation. Just relax and maintain that particular position until the body tells you can go some more. You can feel the breath, feel the lungs, the trachea, the nasal cavities. Feel the inner surface of your body, right? The surfaces of your respiratory system. That's something you normally pay attention to during the day. Yeah. At the inside of your nose, right? At the inside of the nasal cavity, right? And then the inside of the back of the throat. The epiglottis. Heck, that's been 3 minutes. If I want to, right, I can stretch like this, but that's not very maintainable, right? Hamstrings will be good on this far, but if I reach the chin of the chest, not as easy. All right, so that's all of that. Next up is upward facing dog. And relax. Twist from side to side. Feel the body. And then, so I can't usually put the chin straight up first as you kind of slowly get around to it. Usually the low back's a little bit slower getting into position. But then once I can get the low back into place, then I let the head go back slowly, careful with the neck, and then start to reach the chin up. I feel a nice stretch on the throat. And relax. Again, a great thing to focus on to maintain your practice, maintain your concentration is your breath. Feel the air sliding through the body. Can really feel the throat. And it's interesting, the sensation of the throat, right? Makes me notice the breath as it passes through the trachea even more. And always be careful with the neck in this pose because it's kind of an extreme pose, especially for the neck. So you got to be careful when you come out of it. Make sure everything stays in a good spot. All right, so that's 3 minutes of that. And today I want to do 3 minutes of camel pose, which I don't normally do that often. So we'll see how well I can do it. So you can get the hands down. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's a stretch. I'm going to stretch on the kind of the underside of the shoulders. And let the belly expand because you got to breathe. Oh, this is weird. Whereas this, I feel more of the back, less on the arms. But I have to use the knees, quads and hams a little more for balance. And just relax. Play around a little bit with the hand placement. Just be careful with the back and the neck. So I straightened up right there just to swallow a little bit of saliva. It's collecting in the mouth. So when I way back like this, it's and swallow and relax. Feel perspiration on the back of the neck, where the skin is folded up the shoulders. And the neck is starting to tell me kind of doesn't like that pose anymore. Okay, so we did minute 20 seconds. Cool. We'll clear out of that. Next up, we'll do pigeons. Pigeons I've been working on recently to try and improve. They're still not that great. You gotta start somewhere, right? So grab the opposite arm, or use the opposite arm to grab the rear leg. And then just relax, right? Easier said than done a lot of times. And the goal here eventually is to get that foot and head to touch each other, right? Good luck with that. At least not for me. That's not going to happen for a while. At least not going through this route. And I like to do this about half of the 3 minutes. The left arm back. All right, so I've got my right leg back, and then I do the opposite arm back, and then I'll actually switch the arms a little bit because that changes up the stretch a little bit. I can still feel that camel pose a little bit in the kind of the mid back area, the mid set of vertebrae. And again, relax, feel the breath. I'm not so sure what the limiting factor is, right? I guess it's probably the shoulder, probably the back, a little bit the legs, something. Plus, maybe my arms and legs are too short with respect to the length of my spine. Who knows? But this is all I got right now. All right, and the other arm, so same leg back, but then take the opposite arm. This feels a lot more in the pec area. Just one reason I like this stretch to feel, or like this pose to feel that stretch on the pec area. It feels like that had been tightening up. And then also, I feel a little bit on that right bicep is feeling a little bit of a stretch too. In fact, it seems like it's enough of a stretch. The right hand might fall asleep if I stayed here long enough. And this route seems like it should be easier if I could ever like get the hand and like, oh yeah, if I grab instead of the my time's up on that. Oh, look, that video came back. And then do the other side, which is kind of interesting, right? Because I just stretched the right arm, and now I'm going to stretch the right arm some more with the opposite leg and doing the crossbody twist. All right, so I've got the left leg back, and then stretching the right arm, grabbing the inside the foot, and feel that. Again, yeah, if I could just, oh, not gonna happen. Hey, toes, relax toes. Relax the body. It's a good twist on the torso, so I'm really feeling that. And again, feeling the right shoulder, the right bicep a little bit, not so much. Yeah. Eventually, right, that leg, that back leg goes straight up, right? And you can see it perpendicular to the earth eventually. And the head just kind of twists back, touches the foot, right? Yeah, right. I don't know. So yeah, we'll see. So this is a big limit for me, right? Usually I can just kind of do stuff. This. All right. And so now the other side. So the same leg back, but then so it's the left leg back, and this time the left arm back. And relax. And yeah, really feeling a stretch on the left shoulder, left pec area. And relax. Stretch. There you go. The side doesn't seem to be quite as intense as the other side. That's interesting. But then you also want to grab the outside of the foot instead of from the inside of the foot. Yeah, that that ratchets up the intensity. I've had a lot more on the left shoulder. That ratchets up the intensity quite a bit. Grabbing through the inside of the foot instead of the outside of the foot, or around the outside of the foot to the inside of the foot instead of just on the inside of the foot. It also puts some stress on the forearm, the left forearm, because it's actually got to has to twist back, so it's actually twisting the forearm. All right. So now that I've done all that, next up is triangle poses. Let's do some triangles. All right. My version of triangle is get that arm back. Yeah, the left arm that we just stretched, right? And straighten that right leg. Twist the bottom hand. Spread the feet until the spine is parallel to the earth. And then start to look up. Didn't know what's happening well. There you go. So this is my version of triangle, right? Not your typical yoga triangle pose, especially with the base hand. That right hand with the fingertips pointing backwards. That gives some extra stretch to the forearm and to the shoulder. And relax. And then with this pose, with looking up, then especially with the left arm around behind the back, the neck really starts to kind of run out of energy, seems to saturate. And then as soon as that happens, I relax the neck. So it's about a minute in, and then I still, have the idea of looking up, right? Use the eyes, but just relax the muscles in the neck. Keep the shoulders trying to point up, right? Keep trying to pull that left shoulder up, which is made difficult because you've got the left arm on the inside of the right thigh. Yeah, try to pull the shoulder up. Try to look up, feel a stretch on the neck. And then also stretch on the, that's right, the right thigh and hamstring. That's what this pose is supposed to be about, right? But that got easy enough for me. I wanted to add some other stuff. So, and actually, my left hand is starting to get some tingles because it's falling asleep. I get the left shoulder pinched, right? Because it's going around behind the back. And just relax and enjoy the sensation of the left hand falling asleep. Feel the breath. Yeah, it's very interesting. Very powerful falling asleep sensation this time. It doesn't feel like it's falling asleep, right? It feels like after your foot or body part is falling, like after the hand is falling asleep and it starts to wake up, all those tingles that you get, that's what I'm starting to feel. And now I look at the camera, I'd fallen over, right? Try to keep this up. And then feel a little bit of the hamstring, which is good. And that's it for that side. Very slowly, get out. You can see I'm just kind of walking my left arm around. So whenever you get into a deep, intense pose, the body just gets to the point where it stays there, right? And just even coming back to whatever your regular stance or position is, you got to be careful. This body might not like that because it adjusted to get into the deep pose. All right, next up, the other side. So again, kind of get in slowly, bend that front leg, the right arm around behind the back, grab the inside of the left thigh, straighten that left leg, twist that bottom hand, and there we go. Look at that. That is Ben's triangle pose. Straighten the legs. Yeah. Hey. Look up, keep twisting up. And relax. breath. And the neck is starting to wane a little bit. Start to feel the sensation of muscle that's starting to saturate, full of lactic acid, perhaps, right? So relax the neck. Can let the head go ragdoll. Still try to remember to get the shoulders up, which I didn't do quite as good of a job on the other side. And I think usually kind of my left hand falls asleep, but not the right. Oh, now I'm starting to feel the right hand starting to get those tingles. The left hand's already good, right? It didn't fall all the way asleep, right? So the left hand, which was on the previous side, right? So now the right hand, those pins and needle tingles, right? It's fascinating, right? So I'm really interested in science and engineering, right? So I feel all these tingles. So I feel this, it's like a noise signal, right? You feel all these tingles, but you know there's nothing actually happening. So the nerves are just kind of getting squished or something, and they're freaking out or something, right? So they're sending these strong sensations, but intermittently, right? So just trying to classify what that noise signal is that's coming from the hand, those tingles. Right? Just a bunch of white noise on sensation in the hand. It's pretty powerful, right? Because each little tingle, right? It's like almost like a pinprick. Not quite, but it's close, right? Tingles have subsided a little bit. Neck's really starting to get tired. Even the stretched part of the neck is starting to get a little wary on that. All right, so again, come out very slowly. Yeah, there we go. All right, so that's triangle. Next up, Janu Shirsasana. Right look first today. There we go. And so at the beginning of the practice, right, did a forward fold standing, a forward fold seated, right? And this is kind of like kind of a half fold, right? Because I'm only doing the right leg. In my initial seated forward fold, right, I took the chin to the chest and brought it down. Whereas for this forward fold, right, since I've already done that first one, right, and I stretched out the back a little bit, this one I'm focusing a little bit more on the leg. And of course, especially the right leg, right? So I'm straightening the back more and with that chin forward fold, right? And really just trying to elongate, get the top of the head as far away from the pelvis as you can, right? Try to elongate the spine. So try to hinge at the hip back there, right? Forward. And then try to relax as much of that right leg as you can. And so bring the right hand to support, right, just above the knee, just above the kneecap to try and support the right leg. So I don't have to use as much musculature from the right leg as I hold the pose. And easy breathing, right? But try to make try to do slow, easy breathing with longer inhales and exhales. About equivalent length inhale to exhale ratio. Yeah. So the ratio of the length of your inhale, of the duration of your inhale to the duration of your exhale should be about 1. relax. Feel the right hamstring a little bit. All right, so see, I can get the head down, but it's not super comfortable yet. When I relax, the head just kind of pops up a little bit. So now I'm just kind of trying to let gravity do the work. Minimize the amount of musculature that I'm using to maintain the pose. Then my nose actually can touch my big toe. Forehead got down. Yeah, that was the nose touching the big toe. Forehead got down right at the end of time. All right, so body's got two sides. We do the other side. And away we go. The left side of my body always seems to be just not quite as good as the right side for whatever reason. And relax. So yeah, I can actually relax the upper body, right? But then as the leg and the pelvis area, right, the thigh, the glutes, the hamstrings start to open, and the pelvis starts to rotate forward, then I'll start to straighten the back again. Again, try to relax as much of the musculature around the muscle that's being stretched. So really a lot of it's supposed to be a left hamstring stretch, right? Let's try to relax the left hamstring, and then also try to relax the other muscles that are close to the left hamstring. So left quad, your thigh, glutes, all that. This leg doesn't stay up by itself, right? By itself, it kind of goes over like that. So I got to use some musculature somewhere to keep the leg in position. That's the left arm is for. And that's why the left arm is pressing into the side, the left thigh, to help keep the leg straight up. Position, right? Maybe I should just let the left leg flop over to the side. See what that's like. Relax. If you need help to concentrate, focus on your breath, focus on breathing. Not just the breath and breathing, right? Focus on the sensations, right? You've got nerves on the skin inside your nose, your nasal cavity. Try to feel those sensory nerves inside the respiratory system, or right, imagine what they feel like, right? Feel the breath with those sensory nerves, right? So time's up. Hey, look at that, forehead down. Push a little bit. All right, so that is that. Next up is what I affectionately call awesome pose. So it feels awesome when you can get all the way into it. Relax. And eventually this hand, right, wants to go underneath that thigh. So right hand underneath the right thigh. but I gotta go slow because I also want to get the right shoulder on the inside of the right knee. But it starts with grabbing the right foot with the left hand, and everything builds up after that. So once the hand grabs the foot, then you start to go slow. Only so far as the body allows. Nice, slow, easy breathing. It's okay to roll forward, right? That's what I'm doing right now. So I'm rolling forward. The forehead eventually starts to get towards the earth as well. Kind of the things that I'm really working on is getting my hand right to the where the end of that pinky bone, right? Getting my hand, my middle finger around the and then the shoulder starts to get down, but you got to be careful with that hamstring. Make sure the hamstring's happy first. So a lot of sensation on the hamstring, some stretch on the left shoulder a little bit. Hamstring feels like it's okay. Hamstring's happy. You take that right hand underneath the left thigh. Still a big, huge stretch on that right thigh. Really feeling the right hamstring. And a lot of the stretch is from the earth pressing into the right thigh. Right, because you got a lot of thigh muscle, right? And your bone is not as thick as your thigh muscle, and then the earth is pressing into the thigh. Another 10 seconds. Yeah, finally got all the way into this pose. About 20 seconds left. And relax. And that would be that for that side. All right. So now, in preparation for the opposite side, I like to do some kind of cat-cow twists. So I twist the right knee over, and then so I've got the spine twisted, and then I do a little cat-cow maneuver with the spine twisted to help reset the low back, the vertebrae in the low back, and do the opposite side. So to bring the left knee over, and do a little cat-cow. So manipulating the spine front and back, twisting it, and manipulating it from front to back. Because the awesome stretch, as awesome as it is not easy to get into, especially the low back, especially my left side. Low back is not always happy. So again, we start by reaching towards that foot, find that big toe, and then use the elbow. First thing is to start to reach the hand around the foot. And so, yeah, I want that middle finger, right? The middle finger to go around the base of that bone that the pinky toe forms from, right? Side the foot, that little pinky bone, whatever that is. And then once you can grab that, there we go. Then you start rotating forward and into the hamstring. So here for me, I've actually got to slow down for the back. I'm not feeling so much of a hamstring, a little bit, kind of close to the knee. Then the low back is usually kind of the what gates my progress on this. Although today seems like it's going pretty good. It looks like I might be getting a little bit of second side bias here, right? We did the right side first, of course. Really slow. Took a long time to get all the way down. Whereas this side seems like it's going a little bit faster. And relax. Start to feel that stretch on the left thigh. Yeah. Make sure the man part's in a really good spot. So I'm actually rolling the pelvis forward a little bit, right? You got to make sure everything's out of the way. And relax. Feel the stretch. Look at that. Forehead down. Maybe I should have done those cat-cow twists on the other side before doing the other side, huh? And then one interesting thing is when you get that left hand under the thigh, you want to open the eye of the elbow and then try to kind of twist the eye of the elbow towards the floor. Not backwards towards the floor, but frontwards towards the floor. And that's the timer. Yeah, a lot of sensation on that left thigh. And we're done. Alrighty. So yeah, really long practice today. Next up is monkey pose. So front splits. The way I like to get into monkey pose is start from tabletop. Get that right leg start to go forward and then open up towards the side. All right. Yeah, there we go. So, and then as I start to get down into it, and a lot of the weight is on the hands. Feel that. And stretch. And relax. And feeling the right thigh, of course, right close to the pelvis, and the left femur inside the pelvis, right? That ball and socket joint that seems to have a lot of stress on it. So I've actually got the kind of the inside of the left knee onto the earth instead of the top of the knee. All right, so yeah, but better than a lot of people, right? But still not quite perfect, right? Because eventually I want to square up the hips while getting get everything down, but I can't quite square up the hips yet. If I don't square the hips, right, then I can get the pelvis all the way down. That seems to strain the uh, the left side bone socket joint of the pelvis a little bit, which does seem to be kind of the gating factor. Right, so Coming down here, this was to kind of relieve the strain on the ball and socket joint on the left side of the hip. And then I feel a strong sensation on the right side of the body, on that right leg. I have to use a fair amount of musculature to keep the right leg in position as well. So eventually you want to just kind of be able to get the pelvis all the way down like this, right? That's not happening. All right, so timer's up, and then just kind of get back where you started, which is back in the tabletop. And the other side. So that hip joint, right? Flex the muscles a little bit, make sure everything's in the right spot, and then start the other side. And again, the back leg kind of goes in. And still. Okay, camera's back. And then, yeah, it feels like a little bit more of a second side bias. Second side bias, what I mean by that is the second side, a lot of times, is easier to stretch than the first side, whichever side it is, right? Either left or right. Because the body's already been through it on the other side, right? And usually the support muscles or whatever are already kind of used to it, right? So like the back of the pelvis, right? Those muscles have already kind of opened up a little bit. So even with the left hamstring, right, didn't get as deep of a stretch. The everything else, like in the middle, has already opened up. So the left side, so the second side that you do is sometimes a little bit easier than the first side that you do. It really seems to be the case here, right? Because instead of just doing it on the side, right, I'm already starting to get to the point where I want to square up the hips a little bit. And the right ball and socket joint on the pelvis doesn't feel like it has experiencing as much um, sensation, strain, or stress as it was on the other side. But still, and I'm using my left arm a little bit to support the left leg to keep it from rolling out to the side. My right shoulder is starting to get a little strained for some reason. And then my right leg was saying, hey, we need to kind of square up. So I kind of squared up. When I unsquare my hips, right, then I can get the pelvis down a little further. Onto the back knee, back to tabletop, which is a nice safe pose. The body can relax, right? Just tabletop, you just relax. Flex your glutes and thighs, hips, glutes, and thighs, right? Make sure all the joints are in the right spot. Next up is final stretching pose, which is wide splits. Get this down. And take this forward. not as easy when you're a guy. Because you can't just rotate forward, right? There's some extra junk in the front there. You gotta kind of reposition. Feel that nice stretch. And adding on, stretch the right shoulder for about half the remaining time. So stretch the right shoulder, twist the left shoulder. Really try to get the fingertips up on the back as high as you can get. But after you do that, then start to relax, let the body fold over. And yeah, it always bears mentioning and repeating whenever you go into an extreme pose, or whatever your limit is on a pose, and you get there, you come out of the pose. Are you getting into it and getting out of it? Move slowly. So you can relax, so the body feels safe as you get into and out of that extreme pose. Which is why I walk my that twisted shoulder, left shoulder. I walk the left hand down around. One, because the arm can't really move, it's kind of pinched. Number two, move slowly so the body feels safe. All right, because even though you may have a conscious idea of what you're trying to do, right, the rest of your body might not know what you're trying to do, and might throw up an objection to what you're trying to do. Trick is to allow the body to communicate with you. So you kind of steer towards what you want, and you let the body feel safe. All right, so that's it for that. Slowly come out. Timer and a full practice today. All 4 leg exercises. And then this is actually kind of relaxing. Just to be right here like this, especially for me, right? Because my legs are loose enough that they can just maintain right here. Just relax. Hands in front for balance. Without the hands, balance may not work so well. Just relax, enjoy, feel the breath. Feel the spine, feel the legs, the glutes, the hamstrings. Shoulders, the biceps. And that right shoulder. Feel that right shoulder a little bit more than the left shoulder. And yeah, it's not the right side of the body. Looks like it worked a little bit more than the left side. Which is interesting because the right side is usually a little bit looser, right? I would think that the left side should have worked a little bit more. Those last few poses, right, with a second side bias, the right side was perhaps doing more work because it was the first side doing the pose. And the left side to relax a little bit more. There you go. And just feel kind of everything right with the body, right? Acknowledge whatever sensation the body's sending you right now. Feel the right hamstring close to really close to the pelvis. Start to feel that, just a hair. Left hamstring a little bit, right hamstring a little bit more. And start to feel hungry. All right, so next pose, yogi squat. Go, good yogi squat. And then crow pose. Yeah, let's do it from the side, right? Let's see from the side. So you get your hands down. I like to keep, instead of my hands forward, I like to keep my hands pointed out to the side. Lift up, bend the elbows a little bit. Bring the front of the knees towards the triceps. And look at that. Oh, lost balance. There we go. And that's that. All right. If you watched, you rock. You're awesome. Hope you enjoyed, and hope your practice goes well too. Have fun and take care.